No big deal. But I should probably give a little bit of a preface. See, people have asked me, hey Badger, how do I hit creeps like you? I have a functioning brain, I don't just want to AFK rice for 55 minutes. How do I hit creeps if I have no brain? But rest assured, I too can show you how to farm as if you have no proper prefrontal cortex. Do not worry. We're gonna have some great replay review of a friend of mine called Coop. So this will be fun. We're gonna Spectre, mostly gonna critique farming patterns, possibly item choices, possibly haunt usages. We'll find out. Nothing too serious or in depth, but it'll be fun regardless.
Your turn to bag.
Let's get some nice music on. Peaceful, nice music. There we go. Alright, so we got heroes on both sides of the game, but they don't matter. You know who matters? Our man Spectre over here, Coop Dota 2. That's who. Wait, are they tri-laning? Oh god, they're tri-laning. What level of Dota are we in? Alright, so if they're playing a 3v1 into an Axe with a Spectre, they should have a fairly free lane for Spectre, so there should be a lot of chance. Okay, it's gonna be Dazzle plus Axe in the bottom lane. It's not too bad still. Okay, the Sunstrike is missed. It's just, there we go. I should probably keep this up all. Nothing too important yet. Guys, another Sunstrike. Wow. Look at you, Evoker. You're so good. Right. You guys are invading. I'm sure that's fine. As long as you don't get completely dumpstered here. And you won't. You have numbers. You may have almost been dumpstered there. It worked out. Bounty runes acquired. Six Tangos Clarity Salve Start? Am I missing gold here? Whatever. Regen's good. I don't think you necessarily need to go to the side shop here. Simply because you are in this 3v2 lane, you shouldn't be pressured too hard by the Axe and the Naga. If this were a dual lane, the dual lane scenario, I'd say, alright, this makes sense. You're never going to get to the side shop, they're going to ruin your life, but I mean, you should be able to get to the side shop. Alright, fine, range creep, that's good. Never mind, didn't work out for you, unfortunately. What am I watching? You were watching some replay review of some Spectre Dota. Alright, let's see. The range creep. Nice. This is the point where you're going to bring the lane back. You have a fairly large wave. You might want to just hit the range creeps here, because if you don't, the lane is going to push in quite hard under your tower, and unless you're comfortable hitting under tower, that could be a disaster for you. You see right now there's 6 creeps of the enemies, and there's only 1 of yours, so the lane will inevitably be under your tower, unless you want to keep it right there, which is possible, but you're gonna do that. Nice. That's fine. You do have to hit though, regardless. Else you still have 3 range creeps now. They'll need to die eventually, or else you will end up inevitably under tower with 3 range creeps. Alright, you're gonna be under tower. Hopefully your allies know not to rely on you, because you're stuck under tower with 3 range creeps. Alright, see if the last game's gotten better since the last time I watched this. It is not. Oh, that's an unfortunate aggro right there. Well, that's just, I mean, if you were in a lane that was a lot more pressured, I'd definitely go with the level of dispersion over the level in Desolate, but You are in this 3v2 scenario, so it shouldn't be that necessary. Two-man dagger. You dead? Maybe. Maybe not. You are low on regen though, which is a bit of a concern. Is career open? Is the point where you perhaps bring out parts of an Aquila and some regen bottom? You tell your supports, let's get some items down bottom. That's the way to go. Because your Naga also is building an Aquila, I guess. So if it's me, don't go Aquila, go like Magic Wand plus extra Tango South. Your Naga's dead, actually. Is he not Battle Hunger? He doesn't have Battle Hunger! What? Alright, this is one of those games. It's gonna be one of those games. This is the point where you think that, yeah, there we go, aggroing the wave back, good play, good play. Just keep on doing that. He's going to inevitably get a lot out of that, but as long as you can be in experience range. Like, you were out of experience range for that range creep, as long as you were in experience range for that, it would have been fine. This is good. This is about the way you should be playing. Just playing back. Don't get called. Don't get poison touched. Because you see your allies, you see one middle, you see one pulling. At this point, there's not much you can do otherwise. You could hypothetically try to like mind game the enemies by playing a little more up, but not out of call range. Because when you play extremely far back in the lane, it almost gives away that your supports are rotating away, but that's less important than not dying at this point. This play is fine. You can start hitting the range creep though. You notice there's no wave coming. You're going to end up in a very similar scenario to the last lane, where you once again have two range creeps, and the lane's going to have under your tower. Like, I like you keeping the wave right here. You should have killed the range creep and done damage immediately, because once again you see the number of creeps you have versus the number of creeps they have is a huge disparity. It's 2 to 5. You're going to once again end up under tower here. Once again under tower. And since you have no regen, it's probably not ideal. Alright, he did skill Battle Hunger finally. You need the dagger now. You need the dagger immediately to get the last hit in Curse of Battle Hunger, but at that point there's not much you can do. You have no regen, you're just delaying the inevitable. Alright, back to lane. I'm not sure if I like this Gloves of Haste decision over like a Magic Wand or even the Belt of Strength even. Like, there's one situations where you can look at the Gloves of Haste in a sense where it's very good in an AFK farm lane. It increases your farming speed by something like 20% early on, depending on your attack speed and damage, but it doesn't really matter if this is sort of scenario you're in. You're up against a Dazzle and an Axe, your Naga is now rotated top lane, you're once again in a 2v2 scenario. You need to more prioritize HP, prioritize regen, things that'll keep you in the lane more than anything else. Because this dude is going to ruin your life because he's an Axe. And you are a Spectre. And this is the one point in the game where you can do things against you. Alright, so this is going to be a nice little fun bit of the laning phase for a bit. Aggro wave. Almost. I need to aggro the wave there. I think you tried to. I'm not looking at your player perspective, but it looks like you probably did. There we go. Okay, Dazzle has arrived. Your fun is once again over. I do like the decision to get Dispersion though and not go 2-2-0. You definitely need that 1 point. You can salve up though, potentially turn on the Dazzle ideally. Does your team see Dazzle? Your team does not see Dazzle. So say your Naga gets vision on the Dazzle, that's a play potentially. My concern for your team right now in this laning phase is they're like, you're not trading efficiently. Like, you see your team, they're just being damaged by Battle Hunger, Poison Touch, and you're not really getting any damage in return. Luckily, Dazzle is just taking damage, killing creeps, but it's inefficient trades in general. I probably should have mentioned this at the 5-minute mark, but getting downies is pretty big. I don't know why I didn't mention it actually. But let's see, do you have dagger? You do have dagger. Nice. Grimstrike offlane. I'm sure Grimstrike offlane is fine. I think he should be running like a 3 to 4 type scenario, similar to the way you run. Who's good? Similar to the way you kind of run a hero like The same, actually, let's comparison point. The way you used to run Sand King, actually, where you can run him 3, you can run him 4. He's very flexible in the way he lanes. I think he'll be very good in the current meta. And thanks for the tip, by the way. Very much appreciated, Gaff. Let's see here. So you're under tower again, Coop. That's good. That's where you want to be. Coop dagger. You get this last. Okay, there we go. It's one of those things where you can go for the trades as long as you're not missing farm for it. That's one of those scenarios where you played it just right. You got the hit and without missing any last hits. Well, any last hits from walking away. Alright, looks like everyone's dead here. I think all 3 of you were dead. And never mind, only 2 of you are dead. I mean, it's one of those situations where it's just Mind Call, Mind Axe. Unfortunately, you're now dead. I guess you didn't have the Belt of Strength then. So that's a bit less durability against, say, Axe Call. It's alright, that happens. This is the weakest stage of the game for Spectre, where you are not level 6, you don't have a farming accelerance, you don't have HP items, so this is, you're persevering. I mean, sure, you have 2 deaths, but you have 7 assists, and you're 26.5, which is the lowest of all cores, but it's not like you're out of the game in essence. You're at the same level as the enemy safe laner, because this is Dota 2 in 2018. Let's see here. Now we're going to flip the clock, right? We have 9:20 on the clock. Here's a point where you should be thinking, in the most admirable bulldog voice possible, runes! And you should be pinging the runes of your team so you can at least secure one of these 2. Obviously, you don't want to contest Axe on whatever rune he's at, but he can't be at both runes at once. So if you can get, say, Vision on the Axe, know which rune he's going to, say he's going to the top rune, right? You can get the bottom rune, or vice versa. Considering your Spectre as well, you can quite easily dagger around and avoid the Axe. It's good though that Axe is being pressured back right now to where he is, because you can just go up and left to the rune and air rune. Looks like Grimstroke's doing that. Grimstroke? Grimstroke? Alright, you should be yelling at your Grimstroke to get the runes right now. Just yell at him, get runes, get... There we go, he's getting the runes. This is great Dota 2 we're seeing. Oh? Nah, he didn't get it because he was too slow. The Axe secured the rune because Grimstroke did not go fast enough. Very unfortunate for your team and your gold. You do dagger in, but at this point it's just... back to farming. You are going for the Aquila still. Usually I would prioritize the Aquila over the power treads, but it's fine, you still do need the stuff. And full backing, you do see 3 heroes head to bottom lane. It's a little bit obvious considering the way you reacted, but at this point, the way you react in mind gaming the enemy is less important than simply surviving, and having the reflex to back when the enemy's running at you is probably a good thing. So off to the jungle. This is a point where you hit the small centaur, you kill it first, that way you can trigger the desolate on the larger centaur. Ideally, either you do that, or you hit that one a little bit and leave it a little bit alive, hit the large one, and then dagger to that camp. That's probably the way I would do it, actually, if you have the Aquila, but you don't have it currently. So I like this play. You're haunting. Ember's low top. People are low bottom. You could reality in. You did reality in, and it works. Good haunt, good haunts. You need a salve. Life is good for you. So if you get an Aquila, get in there a set of tangos, you can easily head back into the jungle or stay in lane. Ideally, you'd say occupy this bottom lane in those 2 camps. And if they pressure, you could head from these camps to the left here. Say you're at this camp again, you could always hit the centaur, hit the centaur, or whatever creeps that are, and then finish it off with the dagger while also hitting this camp. That would be a very efficient way to play. I see you're going into the jungle now. You're probably going to shrine, and then you can see the exact next situation. Or you're not going to do that, you're going to walk to mid lane. And if you're going to do that with mid lane, you've seen TP into the mid lane, and you didn't have the mana to do it. Actually, you could have Adi switch to it, but if you're going to walk that direction, you need to TP. At this point, like, notice the distance you've run, right? You've run all the way from here over to here. You missed a camp here, you missed a camp here. This is not what you're farming. You didn't even TP to this lane, but in taking such a large diversion to this wave, you've not only lost farm, but now you see your mid Kunkka, right? Who also wanted to get that mid farm, needs to head into the jungle. So, if we're talking in terms of team resources, this is very inefficient. The exact way this went out, so let's speed up a little bit. You see no enemies, but you did see one top, one middle recently, so this is fine. They're not showing... Oh, they're not showing bottom, are they? Does he blink? He doesn't blink. So 2 plays, either hit the small ones first and then get desolate on the larger ones, or do the efficient dagger play. You do have the equivalent, so you can say stop hitting the large one then, hit the blue one, dagger through to this camp, or dagger through to that camp. Look at it. This is just inefficient in general. Like, not only did he not use the dagger play efficiently, you also killed the large unit first. Like, if you're going to say dagger to lead, you should hit the smallest health units first so you can trigger the desolate on the largest of units. That is the most efficient way to approach it with you if you are leading with dagger. Luckily, at this point, though, you can't instantly walk with to that camp, right? Which you were going to. There we go. So you are going over the high ground at least, but never mind. Going to a wave. This is a fine play to do this. Just keep in mind, you look at the vision. You haven't seen Axe yet. Axe should be top lane, but it's good. You are applying a lot of lane pressure here. You haunt? You do not have haunts. So that's mode farm, mode pushing the mid tower, and it's fine. What I would do is I will get the tier 1 tower and TP bottom immediately afterwards. Do you do that? TP? Ah, that was the play right there. Oh, you're doing it! Nice, nice, nice. Let's go. Nice law, nice law. You did miss 1 creep from hesitating, but that's definitely the right play there. Get that farm, use that dagger, get that TP scroll from the side shop. Let's go. Let's go. This is a bit risky the way you're pushing. Like, say, because... Let's go back 15 seconds, right? Where's Set. Alright, look at this exact situation again. See, notice where your wave is. It's going into the tower. But, you look at your vision... You do see only 2 heroes. You see the Axe, and you see the Ember. But notice at this point, unless you actually want to hit the tier 1 tower, it's much more efficient to just go into the jungle here, because you have large camp, you have small camp. And if you do that as well, you can also go from large camp, small camp, bounty rune in that triangle quite easily. But because you hesitate, you're now losing about, like, 7 seconds. These are the little sort of plays that can help you in the long run. Are you killing the small units? Never mind, you went from the... Oh, you're gonna dagger here, aren't you? Okay. Interesting camp prioritization. Now you see 4 enemy heroes. This is a free rune. Good rune. You're bringing out regen. That's very important. Back to the lane. Are you dead? You are dead. You did see Ember coming. Let's go. Let's look back at the situation again. Let's go look back. Let's go back even further. Let's go back even further. So, let's look at Ember on the map. You see Ember on the map here. You see him heading in this general direction. And then in the river. So you have to ask yourself, can you survive Ember's damage? At that exact moment, you've said to yourself, I can survive Ember's damage. In reality, you could not survive that damage. But it's okay, it happens. Sometimes you make mistakes, you misjudge your HP, and you die. You do have Haunt, though. See, one thing, fundamental thing with Spectre is there's 2 modes when you play Spectre. There's mode Haunt, and there's mode no Haunt. Right now, you are mode Haunt. See, when you're playing most carries, right, in this current patch, you don't want to be, say, I don't know, in the jungle, at this triangle, at this camps over here, hitting creeps, masturbating, whatever. But because you are Spectre, you can literally do that and then haunt into the action. It is so easy to do. Say you can just hit this camp, pressure in the top lane with no teammates, do whatever, and then say your team down and they're fighting bottom with this axe right here. And there we go. You are ready to fight. I like this played out at this top wave. Top wave is good. Your main target ideally is this Dazzler, the Invoker, but this isn't a good fight. Just keep farming at this point. Not much you can do there. This dude's bothering me. You get muted. Actually, I don't need to text mute him. We're good. Alright, so you see this guy in your ward. Mode retreat soon. You know he's coming. Good retreat. You don't need to TP here. You can just, probably back to your camps again. You could TP in mid lane and then go into your jungle maybe, but this is just, this is a long path to where you need to go. To our middle, on top lane. Alright, so you see this wave pushing in top. You do ideally want it that way. Obviously, you do need to be careful of Axe, but he doesn't have Blade Mail yet. If you were on Strength Treads the entire time and you weren't in your wave, he can't just instantly burst you. There's the point where you seem to be very mindful of standing on your own wave, which you happen to be doing, but it's fine. Actually, this is a fine play. This is a fine play. I personally would have TP'd in for this medium camp. Or sorry, the middle wave. You do have Haunt, though. This is once again not a good fight. Your team is fighting on their shrine. Too close to their towers. There's no easy target to go into. Which means back into the jungle. Right, you're hitting the small unit. Good, good. Don't know where you're going after this, but you're headed to this camp and then top lane. That's a fine rotation. I personally would have headed this sort of direction and then TP to the top tower when it pushes in, but this is fine. It's a good dagger through. Personally, I would have daggered at the end of the kill rather than the beginning of the kill, but it's still hitting both camps. That is a little more efficient at the very least. Real content. Oh, it's sub. Thanks, Mikkel. Thank you, Mikkel, for the sub, my dude. Very much appreciated. Alright, let's see here. People are dying bottom, aren't they? You have a blink on Sand King and a blink on Axe. This game is not going to be fun for you. You're at a mid lane. You did see their blink heroes bottom. It was fine. The question is, though, is the Raw Radiance the right move? I probably would have gone for something in between, either a Blade Mail or a Hood of Defiance. I feel like you need something defensive, but the fact that you've made it this far means that you're fine. You could TP in, defend this top tower. There's a lot of creeps there. Instead, you've chosen to prioritize the mid wave, which is fine. It's more farm top lane, but you're getting your farm here. At this point, head up in that direction, grab Relic, all is good. The only concern is you do see no heroes in the map but this Sand King. It's a little bit risky. Alright, good stack, good stack. Looks like you're on the way to around the 25-minute radiance. It's not a bad timing. It's good enough. And unfortunately, because there are 4 heroes missing, they try to go on you. You do have no vision on this high ground. Very risky place to farm. Luckily, the enemy team decided to not execute their abilities properly, and they spared you. But yeah, back into the safe part of the jungle, which happens to be cleared. Oh, there's skeletons. Cool. There's free creeps for you. At this point, you could head to this camp, like Falling Blade through this tree here, or dagger through it. I personally would have Falling Bladed one of these trees, like that one right there, and then safe spotted it, but this is fine. Hit creeps, hit creeps. A life of hitting creeps. At this point, you do see a lot of heroes missing. There is an Ember Spirit showing bottom on your tier 2. So most likely his team's backing him up. His team actually isn't backing him up, but... You do flaunt though, you have a Radiance. This is a good timing window. Your team's going to smoke up, you're going to haunt with Radiance, you're going to kill like 3 heroes, it'll be great. What could possibly go wrong? You can hit these creeps, get that farm with the Radiance. Your team's fighting an Axe. Alright, flaunt it on Invoker ideally. You want that on the... Okay, there we go, you're on the Invoker. And you're dead. Alright, your team is dead. You are dead. Let's evaluate that fight. Let's look back and see whether or not fighting this fight was the right decision. At a surface level, I was down for that play here. Okay, so your team's fighting. What vision do we have right before we haunt? We see a hero up, or we don't see the Sand King, do we? We do not see the Sand King. But we do see an axe, we do see a dazzle, we do see an invoker. You are fighting at the enemy's shrine. You also do not have your Grimstroke, which is kind of a big deal here. So he has no TP either. So you're fighting with a 4v5 at their shrine immediately. Alright, so let's go to the haunt moments. Right there. So now we see the entire enemy team. We do see a Sand King, we see an Ember Spirits, we see an Invoker, all these heroes are here. But one ability that's very important is this EMP, right? So now if you reality in, say, onto this Ember Spirit, onto this Invoker, you are immediately split up from your team. Like, notice the Cunt has to run to the right here, the Nog has to run down to the left or down to the right, probably down to the left, which means you are separated from your team. The only hero who's near you is Necrophos, who is being gangbanged by an accident and Invoker Tornado. So, say you do go in here. Say you do go... Oh, I have a phone call. No! It's just, I'll bear it back. Sorry, folks. Sorry, folks. Sorry about that one, folks. Just had a nice little brief phone call had to deal with, but we're back. All is good. Alright, so we're not at this point in the fight. Abilities are being thrown out. We have a boat somewhere. Where's the boat? The boat missed completely? It might have. Okay, never mind. The boat hit perfectly. This is the exact point where the fight looks alright, but keep in mind, you're fighting at a 3v5. You've 3 of your heroes here if you haunt in no Grimstroke. It looks good initially to say, alright, I need to go join my team, I need to be useful, I need to contribute to this game. And the thing is, it's almost like this opportunity where it's opportunity cost, right? It's like, alright, I used haunt, it's like a 3-minute cooldown, I want to get in the fight and do something, but the problem is, you simply do not have the numbers here. And they're simply not low enough for you to do much impact either, and you're not tanky enough. Keep in mind, you do have that Radiance, you do have the Aquila, but you have no Hood, you have no Vanguard, you have no Bladena, you have no Manta, and as a result, you're going to die. Now with the power of hindsight, we can find out, yeah, Badger was definitely right, but it's one of those things you need to evaluate on the fly. Like, say, that's one of situations where you have about 5 seconds, 6 seconds in-game to evaluate. Obviously not with hindsight, but learning from that sort of mistake for the future is very important. So say in the future, you might want to either utilize the haunt and not reality in, or not utilize the haunt, simply farm these camps, farm this mid-wave. And at this point, if your team is fighting that fight, you're saying, alright, this is a lost fight after you take that space created, pushing the mid-wave, Grimstuff pushing in the bottom lane, you're at least applying lane pressure, but instead, your team has gotten the 4-2 wipe, enemy team is bad-mannering in the chat. It's what happens sometimes. Just speed up a little bit. It's not in my nature, but... You're still dead, sir, but you'll be alive soon. We can get back to you. There's a point where, okay, TP top lane. This could go badly. You do have dagger. You do dagger the Invoker, not a bad dagger. I like this. Yeah, this is the point where you back, you salve up, and you farm some more. Good salve from the secret shop. Alright, this is the point where you're walking high ground into enemy shrine. This could go badly. It did go badly! Alright, so, this is the... Oof. My recommendation next time is, This is the point where you need to tell your team to not walk high ground into the enemy shrine, into an Invoker, Ember Spirit, Sand King. I don't know, that's just a bad fight. That is a bad fight selection from your team. And you two were a part of that bad fight selection. At this point, though, you need to get out of certain abilities. You need to get out of Ember Chains is one, for example. Cold Snap's another. I would recommend the Manta style. You are going for the Manta style. I like that. Just be mindful of Axe Call. You don't want to be caught with your illusions, though. If you do practice with Manta enough, you could hypothetically Manta dodge the Axe Call. But that is easier said than done. So you're pushing in the bottom wave. I'm gonna push these two waves. You're gonna go well, this is probably the way you're gonna do this, right? You should be hitting the wave, heading into the jungle, hitting the creeps. At this point, you can go forward. This is a fine play to push in the wave further, apply more lane pressure. But you do need to be mindful. You only see 3 heroes mid lane. Right, you just saw the Axe bottom lane. This is the point where you're like, alright, Axe is in. Right, it's not like this. You're turning off the Radiance, good play. I'm trying to avoid the Axe. You can turn on the Radiance, haunt in if there's like an opportunity over there, because your team now knows Axe is not there. You could fight the 5v4 fight. But simply backing here and not dying is fine. At this point, you could head into this camp in the jungle, but it is very dangerous. Because keep in mind, you have no vision of the enemy team. Other than the most recent guy you saw is an Axe right here. This is a good play to not go into your jungle, because you might want to think, alright, I want to mindlessly hit these creeps. Get farm here, get farm there, get farm there. That is a no-go zone right there. You do not go to this part of the jungle. This part of the jungle is maybe safe, but if they have a ward here, it's not safe as well. This is a little bit risky farming these camps, but it's nowhere near as risky as, say, heading to this camp. That's a no-go zone right now until your team is vision. Alright, you're off to the middle lane, this is fine. You do have haunt, and once you, oh, they're smoked! You don't know they're smoked! Alright, now your team knows they're being gone on. Alright, she has no Meteor Hammer. Alright, I don't know what your team's doing, but your team's now dying for no reason. Naga literally song to save them, and they're dead. You have to be a little bit careful of Axe here. Axe is not showing. He can go on you. Alright, Axe is showing now. You are heading into our jungle. I assume you should be heading to the left here. Heading through this camp, that camp, maybe daggering over this wall to that camp, that sort of thing. And then hitting up that 30-minute bounty rune on the route to that top lane. That's a very good farm right there. I assume that's what you're going to do here. Obviously, if the enemy has an idea you're in there, so this is very risky, but sometimes you gotta just get those creeps. Alright. I would personally recommend hitting that top lane. It applies a bit more lane pressure to do so, but this doesn't really matter because you're dead. And the enemy had some kind of idea you were over there. What does matter though is you did get that bounty rune. That's all that matters, so. Just gonna mute these guys. I don't like these guys. There we go. You do still have Haunt though. Your team may go in here on the Ember Spirit. There is an X mark. This could be a good opportunity. Your team's got their abilities, but you are canceling blinks here, which is pretty important. On the Dazzle, I like this. You are limiting the Dazzle from the fight. That guy's just dead. Good fight, good fight. And people are like, Mikkel is like, oh, just Manta dodge the Axe Call. You just need to practice it, man. I mean, just literally spend, just like it's an arcade trainer. You can literally practice Manta dodging abilities. And one day you too can be like Badger, autistically sitting in a lobby for upwards of 5 hours to learn how to Manta dodge Axe Call and Centaur Stomp, dude. Alright, so you have no vision of the enemy team. You are on their side of the river. This could go badly. You do see Sand King 3 head to the left and try not to die. Alright, you're walking forward again. This is some risky business you're doing. And now not only do you have no vision of the enemy team, you now have less vision of the map. Alright, now the Axe is showing and Sand King is showing, you're relatively safe again. Life is okay. Your team is somewhat grouped here within this circle, which is not ideal. That's the thing with Spectre, right? Is if you have Haunt available, you can just kind of split the map and do whatever. The problem is when you don't have Haunt, you're almost incentivized to not do so. Because say you're, I don't know, right out here with Haunt on Spectre, your team's fighting over here, it's fine. But now suddenly you don't have Haunts. You can TP in, but to where? You have a tier 2 that's dead, a tier 2 that's dead, and a tier 2 that's dead. You have a Shrine, that's already where you are. Luckily though, you do have Haunt in 35. Your team just needs to be mindful that you do not have Haunts. You should be probably pinging that out, say Haunt not available, don't fight you baboons. That sort of thing. Should be fine though. You do once again have no vision of the enemy team though. This could go badly. Yeah, you right now have no vision of the enemy. You even have a scan. That's a good scan, whoever did that. You now know to back. It's very suspicious what's going on here. TP to top, very good. Farm these camps, pressure his lane, that's perfect. And knowing that at least one hero was down there too makes their own jungle a little bit safer. You can now rotate into that 34-minute spawn into their jungle. What are you up to? Farming still? That's fine. You have finished your Manta style, which is quite nice this game. You do... Never mind, there's smoke. You have no idea they're there. You do have Haunt, though. I would, You do see Invoker. I probably would go top lane, knowing they're most recently bottom lane. Alright... Enemy team is pushing in the bottom lane. And this fight's gonna be bad for you guys, I think. So... You do have Haunt, and you see them all bottom. I personally wouldn't be bottom at this point. I would be pressuring top lane, trying to force some kind of reaction from them. Keep in mind, you're simply sitting in your base defending with no Manta as well, so your team lacks a lot of tools. Luckily though, Alright, luckily the enemy team has no idea how to use their abilities, but... Basil did die from that, that's pretty good. And back onto Ember when you can. You dagger on him. Alright, he's dead. Do you have anything? You can blade mail the axe, right? Blade mail. Blade mail. I didn't need to use blade mail earlier there. You should be able to wipe this up at least. You have the Manta, get on the Invoker. That's fine, that works. That's good enough. It's good enough. It'll work. You're definitely not getting the Invoker though. He's way faster than you. This is the point where you once again get the bounty runes, get the creeps. Maybe send the illusions there, head your hero into here to get the bounty runes, but this is overall fine. It's back to mode farm again. At this point, luckily, you know the Axe is dead and the Sand King is dead. You can play a little more aggressively, regardless of your vision. You also see a Dazzle top lane pushing out this wave. Had the wave pushed in harder, that could have been a tier 2 tower from the creeps alone, but that's a different issue. Alright, units being micro, this is good. One in the wave, one in the small camp. Unfortunately, your unit didn't kill the small camp. You could have daggered those 2 creeps, hypothetically, or you could dagger over the Ancients here. Let's see what you do. I'm not sure if I like that Manta, but this is fine. Hit the wave, get your Radiance Burn on it. You're at the point in the game, though, where you have 16,000 net worth. You no longer have to fear Ancient Creeps, you can just hit them. It's fine though, I mean, you get the regen rune. It was a very much risky play to do this though, because once again you have no vision of the enemy team. That's their high ground. They could have vision here, 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 here. You could have died from that very easily. In hindsight it worked out, but that's risky plays there. Alright, so you see 2 heroes bottom. These heroes probably shouldn't be showing on the map together, but this is what happens sometimes. It means their threat level goes down significantly when literally Axe and Sand King are showing in the lane, but oh well. You're off to that top lane, this is fine. Threat level's mid lane, threat level's bottom lane. Top lane is A-okay. Most thing you can have there is an Ember Spirit and a Dazzle, which means no threat to you, so you're okay. I guess Ember, Dazzle, and a Sunstrike, which is not enough damage. Looks like your team is smoked though. They could potentially be trying to catch people that are going for you right now, but unfortunately, enemy team either is calling your bluff or doesn't care. They're pushing in the bottom lane. There's a point where you need to TP back to this wave and defend it while your team goes in 4-man smoke still, and then you can haunt in. Because your Kunkka is TPing back here, this fight cannot work anymore. They can try to go with the Rosh on, but they can't actually kill it, I don't think. This is not a good Rosh attempt, so. This is a point where you need to TP back. You need to make it obvious to your team that you're going to TP back and defend this lane, because you have the haunt ability to get to your team. Because Kunkka had to split himself, now your team is playing away with 4 heroes. And the enemy team can easily exploit that. Yeah, they're exploiting that. That was the play you need to do though. You need to be down in that bottom lane. You need to be the one pushing that wave. Not only are you tankier than the Kunkka, but you also have buyback. So you could have bought back and haunted, worst case scenario. Now your team is Roshing, but Rosh still isn't dead yet. They're pressuring in the lanes. They could be pressuring the barracks even, forcing a buyback, but this is simply risky business here. Luckily they simply didn't notice your heroes were missing for a minute and a half, but it could have gone very badly. Alright, you don't have buyback anymore. This could be a risky play here. You do have 3,500 HP, but let's see how this goes. Looks like it looks like you're going to go in face tank here. Which is fine. I'm going to face tank with 7,000 HP and dispersion. Alright, illusions are going forward, pushing out the lane, you're bottom, okay. There are 5 enemy heroes missing. Correction, there are 4 enemy heroes missing with Alright, a lot of heroes are showing, never mind. This is a point though where your team's backing up bottom. You almost want them to jump you, because you know they have a hero here and a hero there. So in a sense, them jumping you bottom is really good, because you have the Aegis. Problem is you need to have some kind of backup threat to work. Luckily you are headed back to your team again. This is the point where you head top lane, and then you have Haunt available. So you do have TP, you do have Haunt, you're good to go, you're not really at risk right now. Alright, enemy team is still missing. You don't know where they are, your scan's on cooldown. Let's find out where they are. Alright, they're right there. You see Ember, time to be careful. There's a fairly significant way of pushing in top though. Someone has to do that and stop that. That role is yours. Are you headed there right now? Where are you headed to, Coop? You're okay, you can go into this camp and then the wave if you want, but yeah, the wave is the #1 priority here. Kill the creeps. That's a lot of creeps. Invoker bottom and X top. It's fine for you to play up here. Unless you... Okay, your team is fighting X. What are they doing? Alright, this is a risky play, but you do have the Aegis, so it shouldn't be that bad. I mean, your Naga is dead, but the enemy team should die too, so should be fine. You're too tanky to really care here. That's part of the beauty of Spectre, though, is at a certain point, like usually fighting 3v5 if your teammates split away is probably a bad idea, but because you're a Spectre, it doesn't matter. You just kind of tank through it. Overall good fight, though. Now you had high grounds. Forced buybacks from Sand King and Ember, which happened not to be there. When you notice there's no buybacks, you just hit the racks and kill the racks. It shouldn't be able to stop you guys at all, but let's find out. Aren't actually gonna defend this? They're gonna defend this, aren't they? Alright, that was bad from your team collectively. Is there anything you could have done that fight to change it? That's the problem. That's one of those moments where it's not really, like, your team's kind of died to AoE abilities standing on you. I wouldn't particularly fault you for that. This is unfortunate that your team probably should have gotten some kind of building damage fighting 4+ Aegis versus 3 heroes, 2 dead without buyback, but unfortunately for you, your team only got half a damage on a tier 3, and that's it. I see that back out of Dazzle, right? Yeah, back out of Dazzle. It's not great, though. Definitely not what you want. Illusion Micro, that's fine. Push out the mid lane, that's good. It's a pretty cool Arcane Rune if you can get it. Obviously it's very risky because of the Sand King and the Axe nearby, but lower cooldown Haunt is a very good thing to have. You're pretty safe here. I say pretty safe for a reason, because you might just die anyways. He's only Invoker on you though, you're fine. I'll say okay. Back for mana with you. Get mana for Haunt. What's your team up there? Are they smoking? What are they up to? Are they doing anything? Your team's not doing anything, okay. That's fine. That's okay though, I mean, this is a point where you just, maybe buy your Basher, you buy a second TP scroll, maybe buy a Clarity, you TP over here, push out the jungle, push out the bottom lane, Haunt into the fights, all that fun stuff. Right, you're leading with Haunt here, this is interesting. I guess it does give vision to the enemy team. That's the problem where your team wasn't really in a position to give much significant follow-up. And now Haunt is wasted. It's unfortunate. Yeah, same thing I've said before a bunch of times about... I guess the radius it matters less what order you hit things in, but... Oh, team fight. Alright, you're on Dazzle, that's fine. Dazzle and Invoker are the main priorities. Alright, you were zeroing in on Dazzle. Dazzle's dead. Are you gonna call here with your illusions? Oh my god, you should be... I just want to focus right then, right there, on that exact interaction. That is some great luck right there. I want to go nice and slow here. Alright, so you see Axe. He's going for the call. You're stacking your illusions. This could go very badly, but wait. Not only is he mid-animation on one call and gets bashed, you know, his life's being ruined by this bash thing, right? It's like, alright, I can call again. He's stunned anyways. He's now stunned. He's not he's not allowed to play Dota thanks to your bash. He got bashed into chain stunned. He's not allowed to play Dota. It's okay though. That's an alright fight. You guys got what you wanted. I don't think you're gonna get building damage out of this. You're gonna have to defend against the Ember. Alright, if you had Abyssal, this is possibly a kill, but there's no way this is happening. Yeah. Alright, your team is too far forward, and you're gonna die. That's not your fault in particular, but this is really bad from your team. They're both gonna die here. Because Ember's gonna show up eventually and kill those guys, right? Right? Wow. Ember's doing nothing, he's just pushing lanes, cool. That's fine. I was gonna say that Ember was gonna show up and chain both of these guys and they were gonna die, but I guess he was just pushing out lanes instead. Your team escaped a disastrous 2v3 fight. Nice. Kill a wave, get Abyssal. Will you have buyback with that? Ideally you hold buyback here. This is the player of the game where buyback's very important. You're not going to buyback, are you? Ooh, risky business, Coop. I like you got that dust now for the Invoker and the other heroes that go invis, but this is risky business playing a no buyback. Because what if, say, they find you with no buyback? Let's find out. This is a point in the game where it's like, beyond a certain point, buyback matters above all else, because like, if you watch TI, right, OG wasn't more skilled than the other teams. They didn't have better drafts than the other teams. They didn't have a better read in the game than the other teams. So what they did well is they were smarter than the enemy teams, and that's because they used buybacks very, very well. And you notice they always have buybacks. You notice right now, you don't have the buyback. You are simply a man that is a ghost that is not without... It has no buyback. Say you might want to defend top lane, right? But what if they have backup? You don't want to do it without buyback. At this point, though, you're just kind of in your own jungle. Not much to farm. It's a little bit crowded anyways, so... It's the bottom lane. Ideally, you're splitting the map more effectively, but the problem is your team doesn't really have good vision. Say, ideally you want to push this mid wave going through the jungle, but there's heroes somewhere in here, and you don't know where they are, so... Alright, so as a player you might say enemy team's rushing. With the Roshan spawn window, it could have respawned. And if you look at the Rosh pit, they are rushing. But you know what? It doesn't matter. You don't need to know. It doesn't matter. Who cares, Rosh? You're a Spectre. You're gonna win anyways. Because you are Spectre. Back into the jungle, pushing out lanes of illusions. This is fine. You still have Haunt, so you're pretty safe to do whatever you want. You can speed this up. This can be a hitting creep spark. You do need to be a wee bit careful. There's 4 heroes missing. I mean, you saw Ember bottom and Invoker top. You should be safe now, but it's better safe than sorry sometimes. The one thing with using Manta like this, the one flaw is that A, you don't have Manta in case they go on you, and B, you have mana problems. Notice your mana pool without Aquila is not able to deal with that. Hypothetically, if you want to be spamming out Manta like this with no problems, you could itemize into either Scotty or possibly even an item like Hex, hypothetically. If you, I wouldn't recommend it, but... Or carry Clarities. Carrying Clarities is always fine. Looks like the enemy team is buying some key items. You could even go Lincolns for like the hexes, and that would give you sustain for the Manta spam you're doing. Alright, Ember is 6 slotted, Invoker's almost 6 slotted, you're almost 6 slotted. Is this butterfly choice correct? I mean, they don't really have a way of they don't really have a way of hitting you. They don't really have MKBs for the butterfly, but the problem is, at what point will they actually be doing damage via direct damage to you? Look at their heroes, right? Ember Spirit's gonna be AoE damage. Axe is gonna be AoE damage and reflected damage. Invoker's gonna be AoE damage. Sanking's gonna be AoE damage. Sure, they don't have an MKB for your butterfly, I don't know what you're thinking, but the problem is, what purpose does that provide? You actually don't block anything of value with this butterfly. Like, the evasion doesn't really do much. That's my one concern here. I think BKB would probably be better. BKB, possibly Lincoln's, that sort of item instead of a butterfly. It does give you more offensive potential with the butterfly, obviously, but at this point, I just don't see the purpose of it. I could be wrong there, but I don't personally like it because you're not really going to be utilizing the evasion. It's mostly going to be utilizing the agility more than anything else. Which is fine. I mean, obviously, your hero can use agility. It's a very stats-based carry, but the evasion itself will not be that useful. You will block some Invoker attacks, though. That is one thing you're getting out of it, but that's literally it. I think Ember has True Strike talent. He went for True Strike talent as well, so you won't even have anything against him. You are at the point where you have travels, though, and ability goes up, obviously. Two heroes are showing, I believe. Yeah, you're super safe right now, pushing this wave out. Oops. Have to do that. You can pretty much just push this wave infinitely because unless Axis... Okay, Axis travels. Maybe you do need to be a little bit careful then, because hypothetically, Axe and Invoker can travels into a unit and then kill you there, but as long as they're showing, you're fine. Now they're no longer showing. This is the point where you say maybe one more wave and back, or even just back immediately. You don't necessarily need to You didn't necessarily need to TP back there, but you need to play off map because once those heroes are missing, playing off map becomes a little bit essential. There's no need to really be concerned with where am I positioned for a fight, because unless they're jumping on you, you're in a position for a fight because you're Spectre. Obviously, being there is very risky because there are heroes on the enemy team that could go for you, and you don't have Manta because you've been spamming it. This is bad. Alright, let's evaluate the situation. So, let's go here. Alright, so we see one enemy hero in the vicinity, at least. This is a little bit risky. Your team's obviously about as far away from you as the enemy team is. This is not a great start. Two enemy heroes. This is the moment you say, alright, maybe I send the Manta illusions out this direction. But you don't have Manta, you sent them top lane. At this point you say, alright, wave's pushing out naturally, I have two range creeps, I don't need to go in here, all is good. I mean, there's heroes here, they can have an axe, say in the fog over here, this is risky. Now you see a third hero. You know they're playing here, there's zero chance they're not playing this area. You need to back. Right now, look at their vision. They actually don't see you. You're not in risky yet. But this can't go well given your own vision. Alright, so you see Axe now. You saw an Axe there. Your team's pinging, and they know you're fucked. At this point, you actually cannot retreat naturally because he has an Ember Sphere coming for you. You almost have to lead them on some stupid wild goose chase. At this point, you embrace the role you're doing. You go all the way to the right here, you push out the wave, you force them to react, hopefully you get travels again, because there's no way walking back is going to be safe for you. Maybe you hide in the trees here, there's no way. Yeah, you're dead. You're dead. Alright, so you do buy back. Your team actually doesn't have much of a stun here, which could be a concern. I would prioritize going on the Invoker here. I would go in Abyssal or do the same with the Dazzle. Either way is fine. Probably the Dazzle, actually. But you haven't reality in yet. It's concerning. You're going to the back line. But the problem is you go too late to have detection on the Invoker. You should re-reality here. Alright, you've gone on somebody with the Abyssal. I don't know who. But this fight should work now. They have no break for you anymore. You have Dispersion. You're tanky. You take 30 billion damage from Sunstrike, but it doesn't really matter. They're gonna die. Actually, you're too far forward now. This could be bad. Luckily, you have a boat buff, though. You didn't get the boat buff. That's not good. Bolt buff is more valuable than Shrine, I think. But you are on the Invoker. You have a Abyssal Blade here, but you're a bit too deep. All right, so let's evaluate that fight. Let's go back. This is a pretty chaotic fight. Let's go back with the very omniscient power of hindsight and break down this fight, because obviously we left off at around the Haunt breakdown. I had a Haunt breakdown. All right, let's resume from here. Let's resume at 5404. So this is a point where this is a very important jump, because you have used your buyback. Your team is in. They are being crowd controlled, but this is the point where you have to branch go in. As I mentioned throughout the entire game, the main targets are Dazzle and Invoker. Those are your two main dudes. Invoker obviously is the bigger target, but he's also the harder one to kill, because if you go on the Invoker, Dazzle can Glimmer him, Dazzle can Grave him, or Invoker can also just get a Ghost Walk off. As we see in this fight, Grave is now used. This is the point where you say, alright, I actually can kill the Invoker. So you do go for the Invoker. But this is very unfortunate. Ghost Walk happened to be right before you did that. Had you gotten that Abyssal Mantle off immediately, Invoker would have taken a lot of damage. This fight looks a lot differently. Invoker has to buy back immediately. But instead, you're kind of just running around. Invoker's alive. He's going to cause a lot of problems for your entire team this fight. Axe is in the back lines. Axe should be dead here. Obviously, you are going forward, chasing 3. There's a certain point, though, where if the enemy team does buy back, you have to be respectful of it. Right now, you're fine. Alright, Necro does buy back. That is a pretty huge axe call. Alright, Ember buys back. And that's the point where fight becomes hard, because Ember does have travels. This is a point where it's just being very mindful of any buybacks, though. Because the enemy did have the buybacks, this fight becomes very, very difficult. It also means you no longer have buyback. Because you no longer have buyback, you almost have to play more cautiously. Chasing outside of your base to this sort of points is very much risky, because it means if you die out of buyback, you're dead for 120, and your team is missing their biggest hero. And this is a situation where right now, your team no longer has a Naga, no longer has a Spectre. You do have a Kunkka, but you're fighting at a 4v4, and they have a much stronger 4 than your 4. Alright, what does your team do here? Good bow. Looks like your Kunkka might be a bit big right now. Doing a lot of damage. Alright, looks like your team might be too big to fail. Never mind. You guys are all good to go. Rum buff is very balanced, and Kunkka does a lot of damage. You guys are good to go. So because the enemy team completely botched their high ground fights, your team is fine. You respawn in 50. Axe is dead for an ungodly 2.5 minutes, and your team has escaped losing Rex. Your team has avoided the disasters that happen when you have a dieback Spectre. That is a miracle. Let's go forward for a bit. Oh, you went TP in top lane travels? Okay, that's fine. I mean, obviously the catch is dead. Their heroes are dead. You can just push in the top lane, push in the tier 2, which I'm assuming you're gonna do here. Where'd my music go? Let's get some nice, peaceful music. So, we know Coop's gonna win, so we need some rocky music instead. There we go. Can they overcome the enemy team in the late game? Let's find out. Get the training montage in the jungle. So Roche is still down, unfortunately, but at this point it comes down to your team needs to play. We don't need music. Music's overrated anyways. Let's just speed up. At this point, the farming at this point doesn't really matter. What matters is the next key team fight and the vision of yourself farming. Because you're 6-slotted, you can get a moon shard, but at this point there's nothing you can really buy. You bought the BKB instead of the butterfly. It's very important, but at this point we're going to the next team fight. You guys obviously have no vision, but we've known this the entire time. You teams have very spotty vision all game anyways. Alright, so enemy showing. Honestly, a lot of enemies are missing. This is very risky from you, but I said it enough times. Alright, this is a Roshan fight. This is a big fight. I'm sure this is the ultimate fight of the game right here, so I should probably be careful. So you're leading it with Naga Song. This is a good start already. You've caught the Dazzle. Roshan is very high HP. You've also got the Ember Spirits. He has a Rapier as well. So if you identify the Rapier right away, your number one thing to go on here would be Haunt, Abyssal, Ember right away. This means that unless Dazzle is a very good grave or other sign of counter initiation, Ember's gonna die really fast here. The Rapier goes down, they're screwed. So what do you go on? Let's find out. Alright, so you have vision of the entire team. This is good. This is assumedly Invoker in the back lines, right? Yeah. This is oh, that's Invoker? That's Sand King? Who is that? Is that? That's Axe, actually, never mind. That is Axe in the back lines, but this is very good. You have vision over 4 heroes, and you have 5th ones in the back lines. Main target here is Rapier. You want to get that Rapier down. Where do you go in? Right, you do prioritize the Sand King. I do understand why you went on the Sand King. Obviously, he has a lot of their CC, but you're gonna see here, Ember escapes, and he's gonna make. He might make you guys regret that. He did a lot of damage right there. Ember just did a lot of damage. Well, luckily for you guys, it didn't matter, because the rest of their team grouped together and died. Alright, the game is pretty much won from here. You guys will get Aegis. They're not going to contest this. They'll go high ground with Aegis and Cheese and Refresher Shard, and the game will be over, I assume. Alright. Where is your team, actually? Where? Oh, your team is still injured. I really should have said that. That was a really bad play in hindsight. I for some reason thought you had team backing you up there, but fighting in Rochewood 2 is, with those buybacks is not a good idea in hindsight, because if we're looking at the situation going back to 30 seconds ago, it's obviously risky, because in hindsight your team is not here. You have no team, and your team is also in the fountain. So fighting 2v3 into the Roshan pit against an Ember Spirit, Rapier, and Invoker is, not good. Looks like you guys are definitely gonna die here from this. The play to escape there would have been dagger to the left, and then TP out, but unfortunately for you, you're dead again with no buyback, so your team may be screwed this time, but let's find out. Let's find out what happens. They'll get a Roshan instead now. But you will respawn in time for most of the action. Enemy team isn't fully 5-man there. Alright, never mind. They decide to push out numbers. Jesus. And this is the lesson of the game right now. This is the lesson of the game is your team needs to fight with numbers. You just saw numbers over here. You guys had a Haunt advantage, obviously that was good. But then you fight in the Roshan pit, 2v3, you die. But then the enemy team is like, alright, we know we defeat the enemy team with 2 heroes. You know what we should do? We should fight high ground with 2 heroes. The Invoker and the other... What was that other hero? Was it Ember? Yeah, it was Ember. They didn't have their Dazzle, their Axe wasn't ready, and they died because of this. They didn't learn! At this point, you're back. You have Haunts. Ember should die here. Ember's Aegis is down. You're too big. You still have the Manta. All is A-okay. The enemy team is blown a... Oh! Oh! I thought you dodged that call for a bit. This isn't that bad. I mean, your team is defending 4v3. They are injured on 2 heroes. This shouldn't be a high ground, at least. Yeah, you're fine. Your team is fine. We'll just skip forward a minute. Oh. They went for it? They went for it? Huh. I really didn't think they would go for that. That's very suicidal of them. Alright, so what we just saw is the enemy team fighting with a numbers disadvantage into the high ground. Very, very interesting play. This is a very interesting Dota game secured here. Should probably go back to that last team fight where Coop died. So you know at this point the game's inevitably won. Yeah, this game's definitely over. Go forward a minute. That doesn't matter. This fight doesn't matter. We need to go back to the last fight. Let's go look at that last fight. The last time where Spectre died. Let's go... Looks like right here. Is it further back in there? Am I between the... Am I at the wrong death now? No, I'm at the wrong death now. Let's go forward. Let's go back to that last fight. That last fight's pretty important as well. Alright, so you guys are starting off the fight in a pretty decent spot with no Invoker. Ember's obviously quite low. Alright, so this is the moment where you need to be utilizing your secondary reality. Obviously you've haunted in right here, right? But this target is graved. This is the moment where you just say, alright, how do I maximize my impact in this fight? Who do I go on next? I believe your Abyssal is down, or your Abyssal's up. This is the point where you reality into Dazzle, Abyssal, kill him, or reality into Axe, Abyssal, kill him, and hope Sand King can't save them. Sand King is playing with no Blink Dagger, but he can force Burl on somebody. What do you do here? This is wasted damage here. Because you didn't react there immediately to the Grave, you got stunned. Luckily though, you have an Unbolt BKB, which means you weren't stunned. But you don't kill... Your team doesn't kill Axe though, that's kind of a bad thing. Because you see at the end here, Axe will come back and ruin your day. I really thought you dodged that call there. Unfortunately for you, you didn't, but... One thing there in that last fight is very important, is you need to utilize secondary reality. So you go from one target to the next, and one target isn't that important anymore. Obviously, eliminating the Aegis on an Ember Rapier is very important, but... At a certain point... Let's look at the timing, see how realistic this is. There, that's around that's about 0.4 seconds. That's around the point. It's like, alright, reprioritize. Let's keep in mind, you literally can't kill the Ember for like 3 more seconds. So that's the point where it's like, alright, I need to reprioritize. Unfortunately though, you keep hitting it for another like half a second. There's like a second of hitting a grave target. And then the enemies come. Had you had reacted differently immediately, this would not have happened. Axe could have died, or Dazzle would have died, and as a result, you would not have died later in the fight. But this is overall fine. Your team still ended up on top. You are currently BKB'd, even though I won't say it, but it's ended up working out for you guys. I think the enemy team made a lot of key mistakes this game, but your team was not exempt of mistakes either. Certain talents. These are probably the right talents. I mean, maybe you could have gone for the stats over the dagger cooldown. This is fine. Overall, though, game's over. All's A-okay. You get the W. GG is called. Alright, how do we sum up the lessons learned here? So lesson number 1 would be buy more regen in lane. Regen is always important, especially when you're later on you were in those 2v2 scenarios and you simply didn't have enough HP to survive things like Axe calling you. Number 2 would be more efficient regarding Desolates. Say if you're at a camp, you have no intentions to dagger through at the end. That would be hit the small creep and then hit the large creep in order to maximize your efficiency there. Get the Desolate procs on the larger unit, get more damage per second overall doing that. The third thing would be utilize dagger efficiently to get from camp to camp. Say you can either dagger over high ground, which obviously you did, but also you can kill a camp in a way where the dagger will be the finishing blow to all the units and they can use that dagger to get more quickly to the next camp. It's probably one of the bigger things you can do to maximize your efficiency in the jungle as Spectre. Fourth of which is be very mindful of the enemy, where the positioning is, can they kill you, how can they kill you, and how can you play around that farm-wise. Obviously, if certain key heroes like, say, Axe or Sand King that lock you down are showing somewhere, you play more aggressively in lane, and as a result, not care. And fifth would just be mindful of your selection in team fights. The heroes you need to kill and why you need to kill them may change throughout the game. Obviously, earlier on in the game, killing Dazzle and Invoker was important, but say certain things like Ember, Spirit, Rapier can skew your priorities. But in that same sense, we'll do 5B, saying that make sure to utilize reality to its fullest from the haunts. You don't need to necessarily only reality once, you can reality twice, 3 times, cause a lot of chaos in the fight by doing so, and allows you to have very good target reprioritization if that target you're going on, like say, a Grave comes out, you suddenly reprioritize onto a different target and do more in the fight than simply sticking on a single target that you realityed into. Overall, though, this was some fun Spectre replay review. I enjoyed it. I hope you learned some stuff, Coop. Genuinely hope you did, because I am out now. Thank you for watching. This has been Badger with the ever so rare Dota 2 stream. Have a great day, folks.